I've been using some form of red light therapy for 5 years. I have many different videos on this topic, but there's one question that I often get, which is, which one is better, a red light therapy face mask or a red light therapy panel? So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my personal experience using both types of these devices, and I'm also going to be going into some research and objective information so that you can make a more informed decision when investing in your own red light therapy device, because these things are not cheap. So if you're curious which one is right for you, then keep watching. This video is sponsored by Midi Health. Hey guys, it's Robin and welcome to the Science of Self-Care. On this channel, we talk about health science, we talk about life philosophy, and we do a whole lot of self-care experimentation. Before we dive into the devices, here is a quick refresher. Red light therapy, also called photobiomodulation, uses low-level red and near-infrared light, usually around 660 nanometers and 830 nanometers, which are considered the gold standard wavelengths, especially for facial masks. These wavelengths penetrate into the skin and get absorbed by mitochondria. This increases energy production, reduces inflammation, and stimulates processes like collagen synthesis. The key thing to remember is that your results will depend on the specific wavelengths you use and the dose of light you get. And dose equals irradiance multiplied by time. So irradiance is the intensity of the light, and the time is just how long you expose yourself to that intensity of light. So the specific brand or device typically matters less than whether you're actually getting the right dose. I have made many videos on red light therapy masks in the past, so I won't go into too much nitty-gritty detail, but essentially the masks that have worked best for my skin have an irradiance around 30 milliwatts per square centimeter. So the mask I have continued to love and use over the years is by the Light Salon. These are the specs. These specs can also be found in a current body mask, in an Omnilux mask, so they're not unique to the Light Salon, but this is just the mask I continue to love and use. How I typically use this mask is I will wear it for 10 minutes first thing in the morning. Literally right when I wake up, if I'm being very literal, I usually need to pee when I wake up. So I quickly go pee. I splash some water on my face to get any skincare gunk from the night before off of my face. And then I go straight back into bed and wear my red light therapy mask. It is such a luxurious way to wake up. It's very meditative. I literally do try to meditate while I'm doing this, but sometimes I'll also just do visualization exercises or let myself daydream during this time. But something unexpected that I've noticed by doing this mask ritual every single morning is that red light therapy is a major mood booster for me. So when I do this, I just wake up happier, more positive, and there's actually research to support the mood boosting effect of red light therapy. I also see major benefits to my skin, which is another reason I continue to do this every single day. And I actually talked about this in a previous video, but I accidentally ran a bit of an A/B test on my face because the first mask I ever owned broke in that half of the mask stopped working. So half of the lights were working on my mask and the other half were not. But I didn't actually notice that because I usually just put the mask on my face and then turn it on. So I didn't realize for several weeks that half of the mask was broken. But what I did realize was that half of my face was becoming a little more red, a little less even in tone and texture. And I thought, what the heck is going on? And I eventually figured out that half of my mask had broken. So I hadn't been receiving the benefits of the red light therapy during that several week period. And it was so amazing to clearly see the difference between the sides of my face. That actually sparked another idea that I wanted to incorporate in this video, which is running an A/B test on my body using a red light therapy panel. And this is perhaps the perfect time to transition into red light therapy panels. So this is the panel that I have been using. I found some old black clothing. I cut it in half so that half of my body would be blocked from the red light therapy and the other half would be exposed to the red light therapy. I also put a little sock over my hand and foot on the block side. I also faced that half of my body away from the light panel. I did this for about 10 weeks cumulatively, and to be honest, I'm not really sure if I saw a difference. Now, the thing with this A/B test is that it's only testing superficial differences on the skin. It's not going to be able to distinguish between systemic benefits, the benefits throughout our whole body when we do red light therapy. And especially if you're using such a large panel, there are likely benefits that extend way beyond the skin. And that is also what research shows, that there are systemic whole body benefits to doing regular red light therapy. So I don't know, take a look at this footage and let me know if you think there's a difference between the sides of my body. I'm not sure if I truly see a difference. Perhaps my right hand looks a little less inflamed and better circulated to me, but it's hard to say. Interestingly, I did see a difference between the sides of my face, and it wasn't a good one. After several weeks of using this panel on the right side of my body, I noticed that my right cheek was becoming a little splotchier. And this is something I know very well. This is how my cheeks become if I've been exposed to too much sun or heat damage, or if I've used a tool that is too intense for my skin. I develop kind of rosacea-y type splotches, and I started to see that pop up on my right cheek. My personal theory is that this is due to the panel. The wavelengths in this panel are 630 nanometers and 660 nanometers red, 850 nanometers and 940 nanometers near infrared. The most success I've had is using these two wavelengths. Sometimes if a mask also includes much higher wavelengths, I feel like it slightly sensitizes my skin. I'm not fully convinced of that yet, but I definitely know that blue light, which is a much lower wavelength, definitely sensitizes my skin. So I don't think it's too crazy of a theory. One thing to note is that males and females can have different thicknesses of skin, which is why the Omnilux mask made for men actually has different wavelengths than the one made for women. And some women are buying this one thinking that it's more effective because it has this different wavelength, when it may not necessarily be more effective if your skin can't handle that wavelength. So I think if you have very sensitive skin, the most well-studied kind of gold standard wavelengths are this, and these wavelengths can be found in the Light Salon, Current Body, and Omnilux masks. Another factor that can be sensitizing is the irradiance, the intensity of the light. These panels often have much higher irradiance levels because they're not coming into direct contact with your skin, so they have to be stronger in order to deliver a therapeutic effective dose. This also means that depending on where you're standing, you might be receiving too much or too little of an intensity of light. And that's something I really appreciate about masks and patches that you put directly on your body. The dose is very well controlled. There's nowhere for the light to escape. So the companies can make the dose consistent every single time you use it because they know that it will be touching your skin. Whereas panels, there's usually a recommended distance that you stand away from the panel, but I am not personally always measuring that perfectly. I'm just kind of standing where it feels comfortable to stand. I do think there's more chance that your dose will be variable and perhaps even too high if you have very sensitive skin. I found research that irradiance levels above 50 milliwatts per square centimeter can cause heat damage issues like melasma if you are sensitive to heat. And though I wouldn't consider this cheek inflammation melasma, this is just how damage shows up on my skin. So after noticing this, I actually started wearing my red light therapy mask while I was doing the full body panel so that it would block the light from reaching the right side of my face. According to Bestqool, the company that makes this panel, the irradiance is 106 milliwatts per square centimeter at 3 inches away from the panel, and that means at 6 inches away from the panel, which is about where I'm usually standing, the irradiance would be about 26.5 milliwatts per square centimeter, which in theory should be perfectly fine and is actually similar to my face mask. So perhaps it's not the irradiance, but rather the higher wavelength, the 940 nanometer wavelength, that is slightly sensitizing to my skin. I'm not really sure. The last thing I realized is I was also on tretinoin during this time. Tretinoin is a prescription skincare medication that actually makes your skin more photosensitive, and that could definitely be another reason why my face specifically was experiencing a bit of sensitivity, but not at all my body. Because this panel is a lot larger, I think where this really shines is not necessarily skin benefits, but deeper systemic benefits. Something I've personally noticed is that if I have have autoimmune symptoms flare up, this red light panel really helps mitigate that, curb those symptoms, and makes me feel better and less inflamed. Personally, my autoimmune symptoms are often related to my circulation and sometimes even feeling very cold in my body. So standing in front of this red light therapy panel really helps my body feel well circulated and also warm and calm from the inside. I know that is so vague, but I don't really know how else to describe it. If you're someone who struggles with inflammation, I feel like inflammation shows up in so many different ways in our bodies, but you will understand what it means when that inflammation is dialed down. And I feel like this panel does a great job of doing that throughout my whole body. Also, there's literally some heat that comes off of this panel, whereas my red light therapy mask doesn't have heat that's really being emitted from it, which is another thing you want to consider when putting things directly on your facial skin. For some people, excessive heat can cause issues. Speaking of inflammation and autoimmune issues, I'd like to take a moment to share the sponsor of today's video, Midi Health. Midi Health is a virtual care clinic that's on a mission to bring high-quality, compassionate medical care to women covered by insurance. What I love about Midi is that they specialize in women's health, particularly in underserved periods of life like menopause. For me personally, Midi Health was really helpful in identifying that it's time for me to see a rheumatologist about my own autoimmune issues. For many years, I've basically self-managed my autoimmune symptoms by adjusting my lifestyle and my diet, but in looking at my blood work, my Midi Health doctor recommended that I see a specialist to really identify which autoimmune issues I'm dealing with. So I'm really thankful for that intimate and informed conversation because it got me to move my booty and book an appointment with a rheumatologist. So whether you're 35 and just starting to really think about your health and take it seriously, you're 55 and navigating post-menopause, or you're 65 and thinking about your bone health and your brain health, an age-well longevity visit at Midi Health is made for you. And Midi offers a variety of treatments like hormone replacement therapy, weight loss medication, non-hormonal prescriptions, supplements, lifestyle coaching, and custom formulas for skin, hair, and sexual health. So if you're looking for personalized, compassionate care covered by insurance, then use my QR code or click my link below to book your first age-well visit with Midi. Thank you, Midi, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to all things red light therapy. Also, to touch upon the user-friendliness of this panel, the best moment in my day that I found to use this red light therapy full body panel is in the evening. I take a shower every single night as part of my nighttime routine so that I'm already naked and it's very easy to stand in front of this panel. Now, during this A/B testing period that I did, I was reminded of how important it is to make new habits very easy to do so that you don't have as much resistance or friction to doing them. I jumped straight into this A/B trial. It was the first time that I was using my red light therapy panel. I noticed I had a lot of resistance to doing it every night because I needed to put on this crazy half black suit, whereas if I could just stand in front of it naked, it would be so much simpler. So this is just a little reminder that if you are trying to develop a new habit, that it can be helpful to make it as easy and frictionless as possible. You're more likely to adopt it quickly and incorporate it into your regular routine. Also, something to note is that red light therapy can help promote melatonin production. And melatonin is that hormone that makes us just feel sleepy and helps put us to sleep in the evening, which is so interesting because in the morning, I feel like it helps me wake up. But then in the evening, it's been very helpful in helping me get to sleep. It's kind of amazing that it can do both, wake me up and put me to sleep. And I think most people actually at this point know that blue light blocks melatonin production. So it's pretty cool that red light can actually help promote it. I think one major benefit of using this full body panel is just how efficient it is. Because the irradiance is higher, you can use it for less time and still get a therapeutic dose of light. You also immediately just cover a whole part of your body. Compared to using a localized skin patch, it's just a lot more efficient. I do think skin patches can be very useful if you have a very specific part of your body that you want to deliver the red light therapy to, like if you have a wound that you want to heal more quickly, or a specific joint that was injured or you had surgery on and you want to heal that more quickly, then having a smaller patch can be really nice because again, you can put it directly on the skin and it's a lot cheaper and also a lot more portable. I know the Light Salon also markets this patch as a great solution for period cramps. I've tested this a little bit, but I haven't had the opportunity to test it that much. Also, if you are an athlete looking to support general muscle recovery, probably a full body panel is again going to be a better solution. But again, if you have a specific injury in a certain muscle, then a localized patch might be better. I think for anyone who's specifically looking for skin-related benefits, especially if you have sensitive skin, then a mask is going to be the better option. Both masks and panels will improve collagen, reduce wrinkles, even out skin tone, and can calm acne and inflammation if it's not overly sensitizing and irritating your skin. So if you do have sensitive skin like me, again, I think masks are a gentler option. The systemic benefits are really where panels shine. Panels are better at improving full body circulation, reducing systemic inflammation, can help with large muscle recovery, and can even support sleep by boosting melatonin production. Now, masks can also boost melatonin production, but again, the panel is going to be a stronger dose of red light therapy. Now let's talk convenience and cost. Personally, I find my red light therapy mask much more convenient to use. It's small, it's portable, I take it when I travel, and it's just comfortable to wear. I can lay down while I'm using it. Whereas my panel, I have to stand naked in front of it, and it's giant. It's not portable at all. In terms of cost, I think you can get a very solid red light therapy mask for about $300. Sometimes if you go on sale, it can be $200. I think mine is around $400, but I also got my mask on sale. So a little tangent, but a great time to shop for red light therapy devices is during sale periods like Black Friday, or even after Christmas sales or Memorial Day sales. I don't know all the sales periods. But there are often so many incredible sales on red light therapy devices where you can knock hundreds of dollars off of the device. By the way, I do have some affiliate discount codes to different mask brands. I will link all the ones I have down below in case you want to shop any of those brands. Panels, on the other hand, can range from several $100s if it's a small panel to several $1,000s if it's a very big, sturdy panel. So it's definitely a greater investment, which is why I recommend if you are completely new to red light therapy and you're not even sure if you're going to like it or if you're going to be able to stick to using it consistently, I personally would recommend either getting a very small panel or a mask. I love masks so much because there's something so comforting about the way that I use it every single morning, but a panel is going to be a lot more versatile. I know another way that a lot of people will use their panel is to hang it in front of a vibration plate, which I think is such an awesome two-in-one solution. I love my vibration plate so much. I think that's an incredible solution if you really want full body recovery benefits. I'm too lazy to invent this myself, but can someone please invent a shower-friendly red light therapy panel? I would love to take red light showers, something I could just hang over my shower head. I'll be naked in there, I'll be warm. I understand there's a lot of electronics going into these panels. It's probably not the safest thing to have in the shower, but I'm sure it can be done. So if you are a creative inventor out there, please invent this. I will buy it. Back to the question of this video, which one is better, a mask or a panel? If your main goal is facial skin health, improving wrinkles, acne, and redness, a mask is hands down going to be a reliable, gentler, and easier solution to use consistently. If you are looking for systemic whole body benefits like circulation, recovery, and reduced inflammation, a panel is probably the stronger choice. Personally, even with my amazing full body panel, I will never stop my morning face mask ritual because it's truly one of the best moments of my day. And I do think it offers a different experience, a more comfortable and meditative experience than my panel. I also am able to use this mask without any eye protection as long as I properly constrict my pupils beforehand. So when I wake up, I will also turn on all my lights so that my pupils constrict. Then I will do my red light therapy. I never, in the dark with my very dilated pupils, put my mask on because that's when I notice that it irritates my eyes. However, this full body red light panel I cannot do without goggles, and I would not recommend trying to do without goggles. You need to protect your eyes. This is so much more intense. It actually lights up the whole room and even my whole house if I were to take it out of the bedroom. It's definitely a vibe. I personally like these sunglass type eye blockers better than goggles because these goggles tend to leave very strong indents in my eyes and they're very uncomfortable, whereas these goggles are extremely comfortable, easy to take on and off, and don't leave any weird indents. I think I bought these for about $10. I will link them down below. But as always, I want to hear from you guys. Do you own a red light therapy mask or patch? Do you own a full body panel, a half body panel, a quarter body panel? Please share your experiences and your routines down below. I love when the comment section of these videos becomes a gem of crowdsourced wisdom. I learned so much from you guys, and I know you guys learn a lot from each other. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.